Ladies and gentlemen, very soon, within either a couple weeks or within a week, the Inspector General report is going to come out. And the important thing about the Inspector General report is that it's going to prove intent. So right now, the mainstream, they're pretending that all of this is above board. They're pretending they're saying, oh my God, Trump is trying to sow discord and distrust. Oh my goodness, he's trying he's trying to portray James Comey as somebody less than honorable. We all know that that James Comey and the FBI and Clapper and Brennan, they're all over CNN. We all know that they were above board. We know that what they were trying to do was help the United States because President Trump could have colluded. So therefore, Carter Page, the surveillance, the FISA judge, the warrant, the application, wiretapping Flynn's phones and Manafort and setting them up and utilizing the Steele dossier that was completely unverified nonsense and garbage. All of this could have been above board. In fact, it was. In fact, this is national security. Do you want a hostile foreign nation to influence our election? Well, how would they do that? By informing us that Bernie Sanders was cheated? Well, isn't the Washington Post supposed to do that? I mean, what is that? Is that the extent? Well, by influencing the election with Facebook ads? Clinton won the popular vote. Heaven forbid the Electoral College. She won the popular vote. So what's the problem? Well, people in swing states saw the ads. Well, how do you know? Is there any evidence or data? No, but it just happened. Well, anyway, they influenced the election. How are you certain about that? Have you read the ODNI and DHS reports? Well, what are they and who cares? Well, these are reports prior to the Mueller probe. These are reports compiled with a whole lot of surveillance obtained by faulty opposition research linked to Clinton funding that state without any certainty a lot of things took place. The Russians hacked the DNC. We're confident. The NSA is moderately confident. The other two are highly confident. Nobody is certain. The United States government does not stand by any categorical claim. Literally, the United States government does not stand by any categorical claim. Nothing. Yet we're led to believe that all of this, the genesis, the beginning of all of this, was above board. Michael Horowitz is not going to, he could recommend indictments, and hopefully he does. He recommended the indictment of Andrew McCabe. But what's going to take place is all of the abnormalities and the peculiar behavior and the bizarre activity and the overt bias, all of it is going to lead to intent. All of it is going to lead to the statute, the 18371 statute that I talk about in my Federalist article below in the pinned comment. When I say Comey and McCabe and other FBI officials should be charged under this statute, I explain why. The statute is linked to numerous people conspiring to defraud the United States government. It's the same legal statute they tried to use against Trump. They had no evidence against Trump, and 2 years' worth of Mueller probe led to zero indictment of President Trump or Trump Jr. for either collusion or obstruction. Now they're falling back on, well, William Barr didn't dislike Trump as much as the Mueller team did. Well, who cares? Now Justin Amash and Adam Schiff have joined forces. That should really frighten Trump, my God. The biggest imbeciles on the planet have now formed a union of despair and just this inept quest to undermine Trump. Instead of focusing on legislation, because the Democrats have nothing. They talk a big game, but they have nothing. They have Medicare for all that they know very well they're not going to run on. And you have liberal pundits saying, oh, it's amazing. Oh, then why aren't they voting on it? You have AOC there. She's enamored with the garbage disposal. She hasn't voted on, she has not pushed, none of them. None of the quote-unquote progressives in Congress have pushed for Medicare for all legislation. They have a resolution, a Green New Deal resolution, which is hilarious. She didn't run on, you better vote for you vote, if you vote for me, I promise you I'll bring you a symbolic, ambitious resolution that even the AFL-CIO clowns and is against. And I write in my Federalist article that AOC's Green New Deal is linked to decimating communities throughout the world, especially in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where the majority of the world's cobalt supplies are located. And communities in Latin America where lithium is mined. The mining of these metals to ensure that electric car vehicle batteries function properly would decimate the indigenous communities AOC and other Democrats claim to revere. The opposite would take place. You would not defend these people. You would force them. You would make the mining, which is linked to devastating pollution and environmental hazard, and people losing their lives, the mining of cobalt, lithium, and nickel, you would make that even more dangerous for these people. But don't tell Democrats because they feel very good about themselves. They didn't run on an ambitious resolution. They ran on legislation, abolish ICE, Green New Deal legislation, but mainly Medicare for all legislation. Where are the bills? Abolishing ICE. Where's the bill? Where's the federal minimum wage, $15 minimum wage bill? Not there. They're not voting on anything because they have nothing to vote on, because they know that they're not going to run on these issues, and they just want to deceive voters. So now they're focusing only on undermining Trump. That's it. They want to undermine Trump. But see, the Inspector General report coming out, whether it's soft on making categorical statements like the previous one was, Louis Gohmert said you had, hundreds of pages of bias, and then you threw them a bone with, we couldn't find any prosecutorial bias. Very different. Prosecutorial bias is very different from when people say, there's no bias found. It's like, no, the prosecutors weren't given evidence. We have no clue how Hillary Clinton managed to transfer top secret and special access program intelligence outside of the United States government onto her servers in her basement. But the IG report is going to give John Durham, finally 7-8 minutes in, the IG report will give John Durham the intent needed to connect the dots. James Comey said that Clinton didn't intentionally transfer top secret intel. Peter Strzok deleted 5 references to gross negligence, which would have related directly to the Espionage Act statute that doesn't even talk about intent. U.S. Code 793F. Peter Strzok texts, "We will stop Trump." Steele dossiers purchased by Hillary Clinton. CrowdStrike is outsourced by the Democratic Party. Bruce Orr, his wife, is working at Fusion GPS. He informs the FBI that it's politically, the Steele dossier is politically motivated. You might not want to use it. Andrew McCabe's wife is linked to hundreds of thousands of dollars from Terry McAuliffe, who gives her the money for her campaign. Why is everything linked to Clinton funding? Then you have Sidney Blumenthal and Cody Shearer with their own dossier and helping Steele dossier. Then you have Steele, who is desperate to undermine Trump. How is it that Clinton benefits from all of this? Has anyone on the left asked this? They don't care. She's running again. Maybe that's why they don't care. You think she's going to phone bank for Biden, Botox Biden? No, I don't think so. So John Durham already put away decades in prison a corrupt FBI agent linked to Whitey Bulger in Boston. This is one of the top FBI agents in Boston who was engaged in criminal activity along with other criminals. And there were other FBI agents as well. So John Durham is no stranger to this. He knows what's going on, but see, what they have to do is they just simply, because the press is not going to yield, the media is not going to yield an inch. Nothing. They're going to continue to say it was above board, it was fair, James Comey was salt of the earth, and he's such a wonderful person, he protected us from Trump, and he protected us from Facebook ads, and he protected us from Russia hacking the DNC, and they know very well it's a hoax, they know very well it's nonsense, they do not care, because they see this as a vehicle to undermine Trump, and they don't care if it works out, because as long as they've spent enough time to undermine Trump, that's it, that's all they want. There are millions of people now. There are millions of people who don't trust the fact that they declined to indict Trump. He's still guilty. He's still guilty. That's all Clinton needed. She purchased her own. She purchased 2 years of an investigation and she utilized the United States government for her purposes. That's exactly what took place. Madam Cyberhack got what she paid for. She doesn't care. You think Madam Cyberhack cares that the Mueller report ended with no indictment of Trump? She knew very well that Trump wasn't going to get indicted because there was nothing there. She fabricated the Steele dossier, the CrowdStrike assessment, Papadopoulos discussion, Mifsud, Natalia Veselnitskaya with Trump Jr. It's all fabricated nonsense. If they cared about any of that stuff, they would care that Clinton purchased a dossier compiled with one source who was an active Russian intelligence officer. Company one in the indictments of Russian intel, troll farms. Company one is CrowdStrike. The indictment is based on not U.S. intelligence derived from CrowdStrike, or information derived from a tech company that was outsourced by Democrats. They purchased their own probe. John Durham knows this. He has a history of locking up people. Unlike Huber, who has a history of, I don't know, maybe he's really good at golf, or I don't know what's going on, but obviously he wasn't serious. Now you have a real prosecutor. Will he absolutely with certainty indict people? I can't say with certainty, but the writing's on the wall. Oh, there's no plan here. And I think that anyone who believed any of that nonsense, we know what's taking place with William Barr. We know when Democrats are frightened, they go all out in terms of trying to disparage and undermine people. They didn't do anything with Sessions because they were happy with him. But John Durham is going to utilize the Inspector General's report as the basis for intent. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be charged. Okay, Baker and McCabe will likely be the first people charged with crimes. You can take down this whole rotten edifice with just Baker and McCabe flipping and singing. And McCabe is already saying, yeah, James Comey allowed me to leak information to the Washington Post and New York Times. And James Comey said, oh yeah, I can potentially testify against McCabe. They're all turning on each other. Rosenstein is against Comey. Comey's against Rosenstein. They're all. Rosenstein worked with Andrew McCabe to possibly utilize the 25th Amendment against Trump. They were all in on it, but Rosenstein lucked out because they needed him as the guy who started the Mueller probe, tried to undermine Trump, didn't work, now saved his behind. So all the people who are like, oh, it's all working out. No, it's no. Thankfully, if there's one, yes, justice kind of worked out because it was such a fabricated hoax, and Rosenstein just tried desperately to undermine Trump. It didn't work. And he just kind of fell into the position of, oh my goodness, this is... So, all of them are like, my God, how lucky can that guy be? Comey believes he still has the media. Strzok, McCabe, Baker, all of them. They believe that Clapper, Brennan, especially Clapper and Brennan, they believe that, the media will save them. The media's not going to save them. The media is going to eventually turn when all of this leads to the obvious. when all of this leads to obvious indictments, prosecution. But you need the intent, even though you and I already know there's intent. That's the issue. The issue is intent. The issue is intent. It's not, you don't even need it under the law. If you or I or anyone else not named Hillary Clinton or Comey or any of them, the average American citizen does not, you do not need intent if you commit a crime. Or I should say the DA doesn't necessarily need intent at all. And people get railroaded all the time. That's another reason why all of this is so insidious. Because they're trying to say, well, they had suspicion. They had real reasons to go after all of these people. They had a lot of reasons to go after these people. No, they didn't. They didn't have any reason. There was zero evidence. There was absolutely zero evidence. But they still went after him. And they fabricated everything. They fabricated everything with Trump. And in terms of this obvious FISA application for Carter Page, they're going to find out. Why did they deceive the judge? That is illegal. Why did Comey leak classified memos? That's illegal. The DOJ informed the FBI that they shouldn't have used the Steele dossier. So why did they use the Steele dossier, knowing that it was just Clinton purchased intelligence? Why? You have all of this under the umbrella of, a hostile foreign power was going into... Independents, Trump voters, Republicans, they don't care. The only people who conflate U.S. national security with Democrats losing because of their own corruption, they have masked their own illegal behavior and corruption by saying the Russians told you. And Bernie Sanders engaged in a cowardly act. He should have simply said, yeah, I was cheated by Debbie Wasserman Schultz, not Vladimir Putin, and we're descending into a new Cold War based on the rantings of corrupt intelligence officials. But if he did that, he would be completely marginalized. Even more so than the passive-aggressive way Democrats engage in marginalizing political figures on the left they don't like. All of this is going to lead to intent, ladies and gentlemen. I know it sounds, you're going to say, HA, we don't even need intent. We know what's going on. They had no evidence. They found no evidence after 2 years. The funding for all of this, quote-unquote, Steele dossier, CrowdStrike, all of it is linked to Clinton. Why do they need intent? Well, the IG report is going to list a whole litany of really just bizarre behavior. It's so bizarre. Oh my goodness, so bizarre. Can you imagine? So bizarre. So bizarre. This happened. That happened. Oh wow, that's really bizarre. That's an anomaly. Oh, that happened? Everything's going to be, wow, oh my God, really? Oh, no, really? And eventually you'll have so much overt This overt attempt at undermining a duly elected president, it'll be too much, even for media. Because media is like, oh, well, that's fine, it's no problem, da-da-da-da. They're tripping over themselves trying to explain things. And case in point, when they were like, well, we tried to warn Trump about Flynn. First of all, Flynn did nothing wrong. Michael Flynn is an honorable man. He committed no crimes at all. And they set him up. He never worked with a country as a consultant while he was national security advisor. That never happened. The judge even apologized for even trying to say that happened. He misspoke. But mainly, the opinion of Michael Flynn, President Obama's opinion of Michael Flynn is completely irrelevant. So when they say, well, Obama tried to warn Trump, he never said to Trump, oh, by the way, your national security advisor and everyone else around you is under criminal investigation, fabricated, or whatever, even if he didn't want to say fabricated. Criminal investigation. The point is, when Trump texted what he texted recently, he said, nobody informed me that Flynn was under FBI probe. That's the issue. Not, oh, well, Sally Yates said, I don't really think your hire of your national security advisor is above board. Like, who cares what Sally Yates thinks, and who cares what President Obama thinks, and who cares what any Democrat thinks of President Trump's hiring? The issue is they did not tell President Trump that there was an FBI investigation in existence. That's the issue. That's what media is circumventing. I mean, nobody trusts the media. 70 plus percent, I think it's up to like 77% of Americans do not trust the media. And when you say, well, they don't trust Trump either, that's because the media is so disingenuous. All they do is like, oh, well, you know what? Trump lied here. He didn't lie. He didn't even lie. Here's an example of him not lying. There was no lie regarding what he said about Michael Flynn. There was nothing. There was no lie there. But he was right. They didn't inform him of an FBI investigation. But the way they do it is so disingenuous. It is so disingenuous. Well, he was warned, you know. No, he wasn't. And that gets back to the IG report. Why didn't they tell President Trump? Why didn't they tell President Trump? Give me your thoughts below. This is very important because the Inspector General report is going to be used to provide the intent needed to prosecute. William Barr, it's his DOJ and it's his Inspector General report. Let's see what takes place. I think it's going to be stunning. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. Thank you so very, very much. Today, this week, is going to be huge. Thank you.